Hello, my friends. It is October 1st, and this is day 14 of a prolonged fast without food, just liquids, principally composed of coconut water or teas or water, spring water, fortified waters, that sort of thing. And I want to take a moment to talk about restrictive diet and restrictive practices such as what I'm doing right now. And this is not the last day of my fast. It will continue for a few more weeks. And I have learned a couple of things while doing this. Some of the things that I've learned is that when you do this fast correctly, then you do have a renewal of your mind, a renewal of your synapses, a renewal of your neurons. Your blood flows better. Your body feels much better. And you have the ability to move about with greater zest and greater fluidity. So it comes down to mindset. Do you have the will and do you have the mindset to participate and undergo a process such as this? The answer is yes. Everyone has the mindset to do this. It's simply a question of choosing to do so every day, and in some cases several times a day. But you renew yourself each day. And so the scientific basis for prolonged fast is well established. I will not recount that here, and I don't have that memorized, but what I can tell you is that there are facilities in the United States where there are practitioners who have overseen on the order of 10,000, 20,000 and more people doing prolonged fasts for greater than 3 weeks. So it's a well-established science now. And of course, I'm doing fasting for other reasons other than health. But as I said in my previous videos, and I know in my previous video on this, I said I won't talk about it again. And I'm holding to that from the standpoint that I'm not going into the mechanics of fasting or anything like that, but just simply to give a general status on where I'm at with this and to let you know that you can be a lucid person. Your mind still works, and in many cases it works better. Your body renews itself, it replenishes itself, and the concepts of autophagy, mitophagy, BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and ketosis, they're all very useful mechanisms within the body. But the number one thing when it comes to this type of process, where in my case you restrict yourself to liquids, is that the body has its own code built within it to repair itself, to renew itself. You see, there are certain words that I do not use in this conversation that I know would be an issue on a platform like this. So I've avoided those words. But read between the lines on what I'm saying. Your body has a code, and it has a system. It has programming. We know DNA is a program mechanism. We know that the body has behaviors that are very similar to a computer system. And just like when we're talking about Windows or Mac or Android, we know that when you take your phone out of the box or your computer out of the box, it's running fine. Now it can be tweaked a little bit to work better, but it's kind of like when you install the wrong programs, or you install things a certain way, or you get a bad update or something of that sort, then things go in a downhill direction. And so it's like, okay, if I do a factory reset, it's back to square one and it's running just fine. So it's the same way when there are food intakes and other chemical intakes and other environmental factors, whether it be physical, mental, or whatever, that are toxins. Dr. Bobby Price talks about that on his YouTube channel. I like Dr. Bobby Price. He is very informative, practical, and succinct. Dr. Sten Ekberg does a really good job of going into the deep dive science on various factors that I briefly touched on. And Dr. Eric Berg does a great job talking about these subjects as well. And so I could name quite a few. I have a blog post at goshaytalksliving.wordpress.com that goes into extensive detail about that. You'll find a link to that blog post in the description. However, I will say that when you decide, as I have, to reset, you can do several types of reset at the same time. Mine is a spiritual reset, but it goes side by side. It coincides with a physical reset. And if you do the physical reset inappropriately, or let's say inartfully, then the physical can impair or hold back your objectives with the spiritual. Okay? And when I talk about spirituality, I am not talking about religion. I don't do religion. I don't do deities, and I don't do faith. I don't do faith. I don't do deities. I don't do religion. I do spirituality. And that's all I'll say on that for now. But even when you're doing spirituality, you have to calibrate. You have to reset. And again, you got to make sure that the physical works in tandem with that. I do subscribe to the concept of a higher self, the spirit that drives this physical avatar. And so I want to make sure my physical avatar, my physical expression in this matrix, is at its optimal level, to as high as a level that I can achieve, so that the extent to which my higher self and my highest spirit can operate through me, can do so with the least amount of impairments from my own self. So, instead of getting in my own way, I'm preparing the way for my spirit to do its best work, and for the totality of me to do its best work. So that's the insight into my process, to my thinking, and I feel that we are in a time where the energies of Gaia is shifting. And what better way to be ready for the energy shifts, to maximize what we can access and leverage in the energy shift than a complete overhaul and reset of our being from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share, and I hope anyone who encounters this message finds it well, receives it well, and if you have any comments, any questions, go ahead and add them to this video, and I will see you later. Thank you.